Hi everyone, welcome to Carmen's Australian Storytime. Today I am reading The Bean Machine and it's written and illustrated by Adam Bestwick. This book is especially chosen for a boy called Shay. I chose this book for Shay because it's about recycling and machines and about disgusting things, which I know Shay will love. And the boy in this book kinda looks a little bit like Shay too. Let's find out what the blurb has to say about this book. We all know beans are the musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. But here's a tale of a boy named Jack who munched on beans with every snack. In tomato sauce so thick and sweet, these orange things were his favourite treat. So here it is in all its glory, an alternative Jack and the Bean story. Jack loved beans with everything, but his passion for his favourite snack has huge consequences in this tale of food, fun, machines and recycling. Can the bean machine save the day? The blurb. This book sounds super fun, and of course I am interested because it is a rhyming book and a book about recycling. I wonder what the bean machine is and what it does. Beans, beans are the musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. But here's a tale of a boy named Jack who munched on beans with every snack. In tomato sauce so thick and sweet, these orange things were his favourite treat. So here it is in all its glory, an alternative Jack and the Bean story. Text to self. Do you like baked beans? In Australia they are very popular. I grew up eating them and my dad loves them. Do you think this story will be the same as the fairy tale Jack and the Beanstalk story? I am thinking this one will be a very different story to that one. This is Jack and he eats beans for breakfast, lunch and dinner. If munching beans became a sport, he'd definitely be the winner. By day, by night and candlelight, he'd devour them with a guzzle. Jack even had his favourite beans on a jigsaw puzzle. Do you think you could eat beans for breakfast, lunch and dinner? Do you have a favourite food that you wish you could eat all the time? Draw a picture of yourself eating your favourite food. I would love to see your drawings and you can post them to my Facebook page. He ate beans on toast, he loved the most, and beans on peeled bananas. Ugh. Beans while watching television, sat in his pyjamas. And when Jack reached the bottom of his little baked bean tin, he'd simply ask for more beans, please, and wipe sauce off his chin. Now, the beans on toast I don't mind, but the beans on bananas sounds revolting. Jack certainly has unusual taste. Do you like experimenting putting different foods together? In my Year 1 class, we once put toothpaste in a milkshake to see how it tasted, and most of the children thought it was delicious. Jack's mum and dad took it in turns and came up with a plan to heat beans in the microwave and warm them in a pan. Jack liked them hot for breakfast and cold by afternoon. He'd eat them from the fridge at night with his favourite spoon. His poor mum and dad, fancy having to heat up that many beans. Do you sometimes sneak out to the fridge for a midnight snack? Do you like your baked beans hot or cold? Jack really is addicted to eating beans. When you are addicted to something, it means it is really hard to stop. But soon there was a problem, an issue with Jack's snack. A tower of tins had filled the bins and soon began to stack. The trash was overflowing and bags were piling high. The kitchen was an utter mess and Mum began to cry. Oh no! Can you help this poor Mum solve the problem? What could she do with the cans? Use them as pot plants? Use them as pencil holders? Cut the ends and make binoculars? Build a wall? What else can you think of? Meanwhile, Jack ate beans with noodles, apple strudels, beans on ham and stirred in jam, beans in bowls of stew, and even on the loo. And when Jack reached the bottom of his little baked bean tin, he'd simply say, "I'd like some more," and wipe sauce off his chin. Oh dear, Jack is being revolting again. No thanks to any of those food combinations, and especially no to eating on the toilet. This is my least favourite page in the book, but let's be honest, it is probably a favourite of many boys out there who like to try disgusting things. To get rid of the rubbish, Dad hired a massive van and drove to the recycling centre to get rid of our cans. When I look at all of those cans, I can't imagine eating that many baked beans. What a great idea taking them to the recycling centre. Visual clues. Looking at this picture, does the worker at the recycling centre look happy about the cans? I predict there are too many cans for the centre to deal with. What do you think? But back at home, Jack's love for beans just didn't look like stopping, and as he made more piles of tins, Mum just kept on shopping. What do you like to buy at the shops? Do you think Jack's mum looks happy to be buying more tins of beans? Have a go at making your own shopping list. What would you like to buy a whole shopping trolley of? I think I would love a trolley full of Tim Tams. Jack ate beans on cake and in milkshake, and beans on ravioli, on lemon drops and lollipops, and beans on macaroni. And when Jack reached the bottom of his little baked bean tin, he'd smile and say, "Got any more?" and wipe sauce off his chin. How many rhyming pairs can you find on this page? Cake and what was it again? Drops and, help me out here, tin and, I wonder if you finished all of those rhymes. And by the way, more disgusting food combinations, Jack. What is going on? Skips at the recycling centre were full and piled up high, and a pyramid of bean cans was stacked up to the sky. At home in Jack's back garden, a metal mountain grew, while Mum and Dad just panicked and didn't know what to do. Everyone seems to have a problem now about what to do with all of the tins. What does it mean to panic? It means that you just can't solve the problem and it is making you worried. They all look worried. What do you think they can do to solve the problem? Meanwhile, beans were warmed in pots and pans that Dad was quickly heating. Mum zapped beans in microwaves and Jack just kept on eating. I've got a lot of questions now. Okay, so now I am wondering, what did Dad and Mum get to eat? And why isn't Jack fat from all the beans he's eating? And why don't Dad and Mum make Jack get the beans for himself? And why don't they all sit down together and eat? That would be a nice thing to do, and then Jack could share his beans with Mum and Dad, or they could share some different food with him. But at the recycling centre, they're struggling with demand. "We just can't cope with all your cans. I'm sorry, but you're banned." Banned? What does that mean? Being banned from something means you are no longer able to do it. It usually happens when you have done something wrong. In this case, Jack's parents haven't done anything wrong. The recycling centre has just run out of room. Then the metal mountain tumbled and with a clattering sound, cans fell on cars and scooters as they crashed down to the ground. They littered ponds and flattened bikes and bent a garden gate. It left the neighbours' gardens in such an awful state. Oh my goodness, look at all the things that are broken. There are chairs broken, there are metal gates and tyres and roofs of cars, and there's cans in the pond. The bike looks broken, the fence is broken. There is so many things that are broken because of all the cans. Oh boy, Jack. Jack kept eating beans on greens and tangerines and beans with chocolate mousse, beans with peas and melted cheese, oh, and plopped in orange juice. And when Jack reached the bottom of his little baked bean tin, he'd smile and say, "I love these beans," and wipe sauce off his chin. Jack does not seem to be aware of the trouble he is causing. Do you think Jack is being a little selfish about his bean addiction? It is really important we think of others and understand that what we do can have a big impact on other people. It is also really important to never, ever put beans in orange juice or chocolate mousse. That is disgusting. As it got dark, Jack noticed that things were not quite right. So staying awake, he made a plan and worked right through the night. He needed help and couldn't solve this problem on his own. So Jack called up his best friend Will on his tin can phone. What a great idea. Jack has finally noticed that there might be a problem with eating so many baked beans. I love that he made a telephone out of some of his cans. I wonder what Jack and Will are up to. What plans is he making? Make a prediction. What is he going to build? What was the name of this book? Can you remember? Wow, I love this plan for their machine. This is a great drawing because it is labelled and shows you what the machine will look like on the inside. I wonder if the machine he builds will match his plan. Let's find out. Jack and Will then set to work, and using lots of cans, they cut, they drilled and welded them while following their plans. Finally, they both stepped back and wiping their hands clean, Jack announced, "Let's call it the amazing..." Oh boy, I love that Jack is using the cans to make his machine. Do you get to use tools at home? I am really impressed that Jack and Will know how to use all of these tools, but I also think he could have a grown-up with him so that he and Will are safe. Do you like to build things? Maybe you can ask Mum or Dad if you can build something this week. I wonder what they're going to call it. The amazing bean machine. What on earth is a bean machine? Should we be worried about this? I think it does look exactly like their plan. Well done, boys. Without delay, Will made a start and loaded in some tins. Let's set this bean machine to work and make some metal things. I am very curious what metal things Will and Jack are going to make with their machine. Have you ever invented something or made something like Jack and Will? I love that the shape of the machine is a giant tin can. So Jack pushed all the buttons while Will turned a few dials. Then Jack began to access the bean construction files. He tapped on the computer and the thing began to shake. It crunched the cans and noisily it soon began to make. I wonder what the bean construction files are. Activating prior knowledge. I know that when I build something, it is always good to have a plan to follow. That way I know if I've done it right and have not left anything out. I wonder if the files are plans of things you can make with metal. Metal bikes and gates with spikes, and metal parts for scooters, parts for cars and furniture, and bits for new computers. And when the bean machine got low and needed some more tins, Jack would shout, "Let's load some more," and Will would feed them in. Wow, the cans are being turned into amazing objects, and these objects are looking very familiar to me. Can you think what all of these things might be for? The pile of tins was shrinking and soon would disappear. The bean machine kept munching cans as Jack gave a big cheer. With broken things replaced and swapped for sparkling new, Mum and Dad were happy again, and the neighbours too. Do you see what they did? They've made all of the parts that people needed that were smashed in the big crash a few pages ago. What a great idea, Jack and Will. New gates for the recycling centre were delivered on a lorry, while Jack gave them the bean machine and told them he was sorry. Jack has finally realised how selfish he was and that he really needed to look after and help the people he loves and cares about in his community. You will always feel so much better when you think of others and help others. Everyone in this picture looks so happy. I would love a machine like that. Would you? At home, poor Jack was tired and settling down for bed. "I think I need some beans," he said, "to relax my sleepy head." Oh, Jack, really? Now, where did I put my can opener? I love the ending to this book. Thank you so much for listening to The Bean Machine today, especially you, Shay. I can see you inventing some kind of wonderful machine one day. Please comment and subscribe if you like this book and would like to hear some more wonderful stories. And please let me know if you have a favourite you would like me to read. I wonder what I'll read next.